Hi, I'm Adam,
And I'm Chris.
and we are here to share our ideas and experiences at the Gamers Hall. And we would like to talk about ourselves a little bit first before we get into what we're going to...
Today's topic.
I have been playing Dungeons & Dragons and other role-playing games since I was 11 years old, back in the 5th grade, going to 6th grade. I played lots of different other fantasy games. I've also owned a game store myself for 3 years, ran it fairly successfully. So I've met a lot of different people and had a lot of contact with people inside and outside the gaming industry during those 3 years. And I've been a dungeon master for a lot of those years as well. So I've had to come up with a lot of ideas and clever ways of getting around situations that players like to present, or just what people like to talk about, especially during my time at the store. You know, people talk about lots of different things, and you have a whole bunch of idea rolls and trying to figure out, like, well, if I want to do this, I want to do that. Well, I help them figure that out, or at least come up with interesting ideas during that time.
Like a good store owner.
Yep.
Alright, and I'm Chris. I've been playing D&D since I was 10 years old, so for about 25 years now. And we all started when my friend's uncle had just gotten out of the military, and he started us out with first edition Dungeons & Dragons, because that's what he had. And my friend came to school, was telling us these crazy stories, and I was like, dude, what video game are you playing? Like, I've got to get this game. He's like, it's not a video game. I was like, well, what is it? He's like, you just have to come over and play. So I went over there, and we started playing, and I haven't stopped playing since. And I've probably been DMing for about 10 years of that.
But what we really enjoy is we like to get into more of the role-playing side of the game. We like to not get so bogged down with mechanics and what a class can do if you do this and that. Even though we're going to kind of get into some of that. We're more worried about what a class can feel like, what story it gives off, what is that character actually doing, or in your campaigns, what is the setting you're in, what is the feeling, what is the overall story you're trying to portray. Because what we want to do is we really want to make
content that is not mid-max or maximizations of characters, or hey, if you're playing a class and you're not getting these spells or you're not getting this subclass, then you're playing it wrong.
Yeah, we don't believe anybody plays the game wrong. Everybody has their fun way to play, and we agree with that. But
yeah, and we're not saying that mid-maxing and maximization isn't fun. I mean, there are people that like that, and there are plenty of people that already make videos for that. But we're not that.
But today's conundrum is about unconventional uses for classic spells in Dungeons & Dragons. Well, today what we're going to start with is an oldie but a goodie.
And that is Fireball.
Or at least it's what most people know. Now, Fireball, damage dealing spell.
Yep.
Everybody, it's
8d6 dexterity saving throw.
You know, classic and fifth, or it's
big area.
5th edition. That's what everybody uses it for. There's
a bunch of goblins. Bam! Not anymore.
It's the benchmark for can it do as much as it's the benchmark spell for damage, which is cool and all. There's other ways to use it. I think there's a good way of, hey, you know that cave-in we're dealing with? Well, why don't you just bore a little hole and shoot a fireball into that little hole and blow that cave-in out? I mean, fireball's practically dynamite. It's just in spell form. I mean, your DM, obviously on this one, your DM might have to give you a little leeway on it, but game mechanic wise, it's still perfectly functional. It's doing damage to an area.
Or what if the quest was you need to go? We knew that bandits or creatures were here inside this cave, and you guys needed to deal with them. It's like, yeah, we really don't want to deal with them because we don't know how many's in there or what they're doing. You know what? We can just seal it off. Boom. The cave collapses with the fireball thrown there, and it's okay.
All right.
Job's done.
Or
now they don't show up for 2 or 3 more years. That's for somebody else to deal with, not us.
Or dwarves. Dwarves are classic miners, or even kobolds, classic miners. Well, they have a wizard with them, and they need to get out iron or gold or mithril or some other mineral that they need to get out. Well, what better way to control it than also with a controlled blast? So you know exactly where it's going to be out, you know exactly how far it's going to go, you know exactly what it's going to do. It's the perfect mining spell.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not the perfect mining spell, but if you're going to go to the conventional idea of blast mining, I mean, it's the spell for it.
Yeah. Or let's say you are dwarves, you live in caves, or you have like a stone castle, and the DM threw some like diseases, and you know you're worried about the catching some kind of disease or whatever in this area. Fireball should probably kill whatever disease is in there. We're just gonna fireball that room. It's done. There's a good chance that it killed everything in there.
You'd hope.
Hopefully,
unless it's some necrotic disease that nobody sees coming.
Said hopefully.
You know, another good one is let's not use it to damage anything. What is the most memorable thing about a fireball?
The explosion.
The explosion. And it doesn't technically say it gives off a big light, but it's a fireball. So,
I mean, it definitely has sound.
It definitely would create some sound.
It doesn't just in the description. It does not say how far it can be heard, but you throw a fireball, people hear it.
So, what if you shot that straight up in the sky? Say you're on a pirate ship, and you need to get the attention of a ship, however far away, or you're out and scouting somewhere for an army.
Kind of like a signal flare.
Exactly.
And he actually brought this up many months ago, and I actually used it in one of my campaigns I run on Saturdays, and the players were coming back to Phandalin, and on their way back, a fireball shot up in the sky and exploded, which kind of got a little confusing because it was on the 4th of July, and they're like, oh, fireworks. And I was like, no, guys, this was not a happy 4th of July thing. And as soon as I said that, they were like, oh, wait a minute. So a fireball just erupted in the town? How's the town look? It's like, you can see racket going on, but you don't see any chimney fires that you would normally see that coming from the inns or any of the forges from the steel workers or the farriers. Yeah. And they're like, and they just hauled ass to the town.
Yeah, and this is a great example of using a spell not as it is intended to be used for, but making a situation happen that you need to happen. So as a DM, this is a perfect use for a spell, just to get your players to go somewhere that they normally wouldn't go, or to get your players to go somewhere they're not supposed to go as well.
Yeah.
Which that also leads into another one. You can use it for intimidation.
Yeah.
Several different ways. If a person is throwing fireballs across a field, you don't want to go there. How many more fireballs can he shoot? You don't know. Or a classic one is if you're that classic hero, which I just said classic twice, but it's that classic.
Right. But what if you only have one spell slot left and suddenly there's 20 orcs? Your fireball can get half of them, but what if you just banged it out there and was like, look, I got more. Y'all can run.
Hold on a second.
Or I can just kill all of you.
What if you're that classic hero coming out of a building and you want to make sure that everybody knows you just left?
Behind.
You point that explosion right behind you. That fireball blows off just outside of your range, and they see that blowback. And then you have your movie hero
Yeah.
intro or outro in some cases.
That's right. I'm the BA guy. People are definitely going to remember this.
Yeah. It's a great way to use a spell.
Now I'm a local town hero.
Hey, now DM says, okay, roll that intimidation check.
Or you're going to jail
At
because
advantage.
you just blew up a building.
That too, but that's a whole nother story, and we're not going to worry about that.
We're going to pretend there was 1,000
collateral-
goblins in there.
Collateral damage is not the player's problem. That's the DM's problem.
Right.
So, what's our next one?
Next on the list is Lightning Bolt.
Okay, hey, the other damage dealing spell. Everybody says there's two different spells. Everybody uses them. Fireball, lightning bolt. It's the other big one. Lightning bolt shoots in a line up to 150 feet. It's different in a couple of different, or it's been changed in a couple of different settings and different games, but still classically I'm shooting.
Yeah, I feel like from 1st edition to 5th edition, it's pretty much stayed the same.
Pretty much. Width may have changed. Most of the time it's 5 feet wide, and then however long.
60 feet long.
60 feet long.
I think it's 60.
Well, at one point it goes on until it stops.
Oh.
So, I can't remember what edition that was, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it just keeps going. But ways you can use that different. Well, if you're a glass maker and you need a bunch of glass,
Just go out into the beach. Boom, boom, boom. You got a lot of glass now.
you know, depending on how good you may be at Arcana and controlling magic, or how much your DM is allowing you to get away with, which if you're probably not trying to blow up the next biggest thing or the next group of people, they'll probably let you get away with quite a bit.
Yeah.
If it's just making a row of glass, which that glass could be used to put, you can maybe make
vials.
windows, make vials,
Stained glass windows for whatever religion or temple.
I mean, there's lots of artistic ways that you could go about it, putting different colors and stuff, and shooting that lightning bolt down the line, and basically making a factory out of it. A 3rd level spell slot or higher, and you go, well, we've just made 20 panes of glass in maybe an hour's work.
Doesn't lightning also petrify wood?
Lightning also does petrify wood, or can petrify wood, depending on if it doesn't burn it first. But yeah, it can trigger the petrification.
You could pay a wizard to lightning bolt this giant hunk of wood, and now your barbarian has this petrified log that he swings around as his great club.
Could. Or an artificer now could also do the same thing. That's how he makes certain styles of wooden armor or wooden weapons, is maybe he tries to replicate nature.
They can do that?
Artificers?
Yeah.
I mean, if they can, there's a new way to get a spell from other classes with...
Oh, that's from... Okay, that's from the new Eberron book.
But that doesn't stop them from getting a wand of lightning bolts and...
Good point.
And doing the same thing. They make magic items. There's nothing stopping them from making more magic items. That is kind of their thing. So,
yeah.
Get a lightning bolt, start making stuff. Also, lightning is pure energy. So, maybe you need to charge something. Maybe there's some...
Could definitely be used to charge other things.
Maybe there's some ancient dwarven machine or gnomish machine or celestial machine. Who cares? Some type of machine. Whatever machine it may be, it needs a jump start. And what better way to do it than shoot a lightning bolt into it and give it that one hell of a jump
There's
start.
some random Modrone you come across that is basically dead, and it's like, I could just, boop, hey, I sparked him back up. He's good now.
Yeah, or a flesh golem that is no longer operable. You shoot
Frankenstein him.
You Frankenstein him up. Boom! That's the same. I mean, it's electricity. Now, there's several different spells that could also work the same way and probably do the same thing.
Yeah. Or
so
maybe you're that wizard that's really hungry and you shoot lightning bolt into the pond and fry the fish, and when they come up, you start gathering them.
Well, depending on how close they are to the surface there, but yeah, it could work. Or
if you wanted to possibly turn that lightning bolt into an AoE spell, if there's a body of water between you and something, and those somethings are coming after you and they have to get in the water, you could lightning bolt the water, and the DM will have to finagle some stuff and see how the damage would be on that. But I would let it slide and be like, okay, like you get this many creatures, and instead of 8d6, it'll be 4d6 in this area, because as the further it goes, the weaker it gets.
Yeah, it's going to diffuse pretty quick, but it's pretty cool ways of using it that you don't have to just point down a line and hope you get 5 different people and say, oh, there's my 3rd level spell slot. But, oh, okay. Our next one, though, Cure Wounds. So this one has been used in every edition and has some different way of being portrayed. Maybe it's a powerful ability. Sometime at one point it was a necrotic spell.
Yeah. At one point it was necromancy, but now it's evocation.
Right. So evocation means that it's energy coming from heads of D&D and other people that have dealt with fantasy kind of things. Kind of all agree Cure Wounds is energy. Yeah. All it is pure energy. So why wouldn't it also be able to use to charge something as well? I mean, yes, it's for healing. I get that.
Yeah.
But if you use it, if you talk to your DM and say, hey, maybe I want to just use it to bring something to life real quick, or not really to life, just to function, then pumping a little bit of raw energy into it could also work. I mean, it's a safer energy than lightning, that's for sure.
Yeah. Or what if there's that rare herb, that rare plant that you have to go get, and when you get there, someone's jacked it up, or a creature's half eaten it already. Pump a little Cure Wounds into it and let it speeds up the growing process, possibly.
Even going through that, maybe that's what the druid does for his grove and plants. Maybe he goes along to his particular plants he wants to grow the most, and he's just like, instead of talking to them, which he can already do, he goes, well, maybe if I just put a little extra juice in them, I'll pop a Cure Wounds.
Or now, maybe a lightning bolt hit that tree in a storm, and he just goes by and tries to make sure that the forest stays healthy.
Now, we realize that is tugging the rules a little bit, but who cares? It's for fun. It's for fun. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It's not hurting anything. It's not breaking anything. But it is adding a little different way you could use that spell. Other than just going, oh, hey, buddy, you hurt? Okay, I got you. I mean, kind of boring.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Very useful, though. Kind of boring.
Of course, extremely useful.
Right.
Nobody likes going down.
No. Well, nobody likes staying down. How often does that Cure Wounds hit you before you go down?
Yeah, good point. That's all the spells we got for today.
Okay. Yeah. We'll try and come up with some more ideas for different spells, and if you have more ideas for different spells that you would like to see, put it in our comments. Also, we would love to come up with more ideas, so even if you have different ideas about stuff you would like to see, put that in our comments.
Alright, if you guys like these videos, like, share, subscribe, and until then, have fun gaming.
Alright, see ya.